So we're going to talk about this chunky, beautiful. And you see how big is that? It's chunky. Okay, this beauty over here is the Spanish copy of The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is the Spanish edition, as I said, and it's published by RBA Molino, one of the YA kind of publisher companies. Well, this is the division of YA, but it's not the only thing they publish. What is The Diviners about, in case that you are new to the trilogy? Because this is a trilogy. This is actually the first installment in a trilogy. But in case you don't know it, this beauty over here, it's about a girl named Ivy or Evie. I think it's Evie, that actually lives during the 20s, which is my favorite period of time of this kind of modern kind of history. And she is a flapper, which means that she is a kind of a modern girl who loves to go out and have fun and drink alcohol and dancing and stuff. So she lives in a tiny village, in a tiny town called Ohio, and she basically has a little secret. She's able to do some kind of mental tricks, and it's kind of scary, but she doesn't actually share that with people until in one dreadful party she decides to play with her abilities with a lot of people, and that leads her to actually get into a little bit of trouble. So her parents decide to send her home, well, not home, send her to New York with her uncle Will, who is the owner of kind of mystic kind of museum. It's like a little bit of a horror kind of haunted big museum where you can see everything of the occult, everything related to spirits and religions and this kind of stuff. Because Will is a person who studies religion and how the occultism is real and what is not, and if gods and kind of these paranormal activities going on. He's a specialist in that, and he has this paranormal museum in the middle of New York. So although Evie really wants to go to New York because she loves New York and she would love to be in the Big Apple, she decides to actually not tell her parents, so it seems like a punishment instead of a reward. So when she arrives to this place and meets with some friends and things like that, she is really enjoying New York, until a point where her uncle is called by the police because they have a case of a series of murders that they are not able to resolve. And Will has one friend in the police department, an inspector that actually needs a little bit of help with the case, because these kind of victims have like symbols in their bodies, in the corpses, where you can actually they think it's related to religions and spiritism and things like that. So they decided to call Will. So one day Evie decides to join her uncle Will and his kind of assistant, Harry Cole, in, I'm not sure about how to pronounce it, Jericho, I'm not sure. Well, his assistant is a very kind of a stoic, kind of serious young man, really good looking. So she decides to join the two of them and start investigating as well. The problem with that is that during this investigation, the abilities that that Evie has actually go farther and farther, and she cannot. She discovers things that are quite scary. So she wants to get more involved with her aunt, with her uncle investigation. That's all I can say. I know it's a rubbish summary, but I don't know how to do it better. This book is a gem. I know I've been like spending weeks and weeks and weeks trying to finish this up, but this is brilliant. I love it. I think Libba did a really, really amazing job in creating this story. Again, this is only the first volume of a trilogy, so I'm hoping, I'm wishing that we can actually have another, the sequel to this here in Spain, because I really need it. But what I love the most about this story is not is that the ambience, that the environment and the historical elements of this, the way Libba actually creates this kind of roaring 20s atmosphere with jazz and secret parties, and you can actually see the occultism or the features or the flappers going around. I love it. I love every minute of that, because I felt like it's like being in the middle of the Great Gatsby film. It's like I thought I was part of that, and I love that. I also love how important this book is in terms of characters and characters building. Kind of, I think people should study this novel in that terms, because I must say that I wasn't a big fan of Evie at the very beginning of the novel, basically because I thought it was kind of a copy of Daisy Buchanan. Just in case you don't know me yet, I love The Great Gatsby, although I only read it in Spanish. I'm planning on reading in English soon, but I love The Great Gatsby, and I think Daisy, despite everything, is a great character, or at least with her we can do a really big criticism of the American society back then. So I find this kind of, bubbly kind of young girl that wants to be a flapper, that wants to party all night. Evie is this kind of stereotypical flapper girl, and I thought that was a Daisy Buchanan's kind of copy. But then I stopped, I continued reading, and I said, no, this is not a Daisy girl. This is Evie on her own. It's Evie as heroine, as a hero of the story. I was very wrong with her, and I feel like this kind of progression that she makes through the novel is very important, because you can see that behind this kind of, I don't know, materialistic kind of facade, she actually has morals and beliefs, and she has dreams, big dreams, and aspirations of making things right, or being, if not fitting in, because that's what she really wants, of being able to cope with the real life and be making someone proud of herself, I guess, her parents or her friends, I'm not sure. And I love that. I love the complexity of Evie's personality, where she looks very, very materialistic and flap kind of style on the outside. She's very concerned about the things that are going on in her head or related to her abilities, because she cannot control it anymore. Or if she wants to follow her instinct, maybe that's very difficult or dangerous for the rest of the people that she lives with. But also, I love about the characters that we have a set of secondary characters such as Will, Jericho. Also, for example, we have Marvel, which is Marvel, who is Evie's best friend. We also meet my favorite male character, who is Memphis, who is a black guy that gets in the middle of all this. And I love how this kind of choral kind of main protagonists, in plural, they don't seem important beside Evie at the beginning of the story, but as you are progressing with it, you discover that, hold on, these people are more, or they hide more stuff. And I love, for example, how, taking Memphis example to explain to you this. You have this kind of white girl, flapper girls, and white parties and things like that. And with Memphis, you see the other way, the suburb kind of area, the idea of the gangsters or the jazz, the forbidden jazz clubs or things like that. And this story has the first, or at least a really interesting love subplot connecting Memphis with a white girl that I really love. And I think that setting an interracial love story in the 20s, in this political and social structure and society, is really interesting, and I want to see more of that because I love this pairing. It's not Evie, it's with another character, but I love this pair in particular. Other thing I love about this is that this starts as a mystery kind of story, but you continue reading about the murders, and it's actually very, very gruesome and very, very graphic, but it's actually very the process is very delicate too. So you have this kind of very detailed image of a corpse like being, I don't know, murdered, and very gruesome kind of aspect, but you analyze the sentences, and at least the Spanish translation is very, very powerful. It's like a really nice prose, and I love how this kind of mystery becomes more horror kind of sense without getting into the horror genre. So if you don't like horror, you don't need that. You don't have to put this aside. It's scary at some bits, but it's not like a horror kind of a story. This story intertwines love, mystery, a little bit of spooky elements in it. And also I love how you can see this, as I said before, historical kind of approach to it, because you have almost like an X-ray of the American American society in the 20s, but also have this element of futuristic approach to it, because this is also entangling new innovations and new experiments, which fits very well with the plot and the setting, because in the 20s people were very, very interested in mechanical innovations. I really adore this story. I think the prose is very well done. I think that the characters were very deceiving at the beginning, and I deserve to be a little bit called out, because I thought things that weren't like that. But then it's very intriguing, and you really, once you get into the plot, things got really, really messy. It's like a roller coaster, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Now I need a sequel. I need to know when this is going to come out, at least in Spanish, because I know that the sequel of this, Liar of Dreams, I think it's called, I don't have it, and I really need it. I really need to know how this is going to end. The only thing that I would say I didn't like is that the beginning is very slow, but I understand why Libba decided to write it that way, because you have a really big set of characters, and you need to get into not only knowing them, but to get into this atmosphere of a scary, spooky mystery thing that is surrounding New York. But you need time for that to happen. You need time to get to know the characters and interest yourself in them, not only because of they are the main protagonist, for instance, but in the case of Evie, but because you need to care, you need to empathize with them, and the only way of doing so is by using pages. But again, I understand why it's slow at the beginning, because you need kind of a background, a setting where you can actually play with these characters, where you can go along and be a companion of all of them. So I really like it. I really, really like it. if you want some kind of a historical setting with scary, spooky bits that also explore how the society worked then, and quite interesting topics because I haven't said it before, but this has kind of a strong female characters who actually go through very, very dramatic experiences. I'm thinking about a character that suffered from an abusive relationship. It's very it's introduced this in the topic in the book, sorry. This is introduced in the book very slowly, and it's not very, it's part of her backstory, it's not in the present book. So if you have issues with that topic, I have to say that the like references to that are very small, but they are present, and I think it's very important, especially if we are talking about YA, where you can actually discuss certain stuff in order to prevent the young people, to continue doing so. But I really love it. I need a sequel. Libba, thank you for answering all my tweets, but I need to know how to get the sequel to this in Spanish. I hope I can chat with you more often about this. Have you read it? Who in this video? Well, if you have read it, please let me know. I need to chat about this with someone. This book is a gem. I insist on that. Well, this is it for this week, and I don't know if you need any kind of references about the book, or you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section down below, or if you have read it and you want to share elements of the book that I haven't mentioned and you think they are important without giving any spoilers, please. That's the main thing. Just let me know. Or have you read any other book set on the 20s that you want me to know about? Because probably I would love to read them. Oh, and in case you want to keep in contact with me, I will leave everything, all the social media down below where you can find me, and also my Amazon wishlist in case you want to know what I'm looking for right now. Goodbye, people. I hope you can stay for the next week too. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you soon, I hope. Goodbye.